Plenty of Americans are taking up golf. There are more new players in the U.S. now than at any time since the early 2000s, and yet very few of these new players are sticking with it as the number of overall participants continues to decline. Joining us to discuss what's going on the greens is WSJ sports editor Geoff Foster. Geoff, it's so good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
So how popular is golf in the U.S. right now?
Well, right now there's about 24 million people who played last year, and that's down from about the heyday of Tiger Woods when golf was surging in popularity around 2005. It was about 30 million, and it's been steadily dropping. But the number you mentioned is the interesting number, is that the number of people who are actually trying it for the first time is going up.
So this indicates that those people who are trying it aren't sticking
Right, because we know there's about 20 million people of that 24 that are just hardcore golfers. These are the people we all know. They golf all the time. So where's the drop coming from? It must be from the people who are trying it once and then never going back.
Before we analyze all that and get into it, Geoff, do you play golf?
I do.
Did you grow up playing golf?
No, I didn't. I actually didn't play until, post-college or in my 20s or something like that.
And you were hooked right away?
Well, I was hooked because I guess I had some early success. They call it shot euphoria. It's actually mentioned in the story. Early success meaning I hit one good shot in a round that lasted 6 hours.
But repeat that experience.
If you hit that one good shot, you're like, oh, I can do this every time.
And it keeps you coming back.
Yeah, it keeps you coming back, and it's really hard for a long time. And now I'm still pretty bad. But
so that's a key factor, though, right? You have to taste that to want to come back.
Yeah, golf is hard. It's really hard, especially if you've never played before. And the other thing is that these courses that most people play on, depending where they go, they're going to be pretty hard as well. Narrow fairways, trees everywhere.
There are no bunny slopes for beginner golfers.
Right, exactly. I mean, playing golf on an 18-hole course, a nice course for the first time, is taking someone up to the top of the mountain who's never skied and just pushing them down a black diamond.
Right, which is crazy. But we've also, we've talked about this before, and people have mentioned that, golf is expensive. It takes 5 hours. Who's got 5 hours to kill? So there's the time and money factor that's tough. But there are other sort of less quantifiable factors, like the comfort factor, correct?
Right. And the new research that we were looking at in the article points to the competence, which we talked about already, and the comfort factor, which is it can be kind of awkward when you're golfing for the first time. There are a lot of rules.
Some of them unspoken.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules. There's a lot of ways to get into trouble. Am I playing too slow? Does my shirt need to be tucked in? Can I drive the cart over there? Can I, am I delaying the whole round? That kind of thing.
Absolutely. And, frankly, a lot of golf is played at clubs, and there's a very clubby atmosphere that some people who haven't grown up going to clubs don't necessarily feel comfortable in because they haven't learned the rules,
And most of the other people on the course are very good, and they play all the time. And then you go up there in this atmosphere, and you're, missing the ball entirely or hitting into the woods. It can be embarrassing.
You feel a little silly. So is the answer to make golf more beginner-friendly?
Well, that's what they're looking at now, and the story addresses that.
Tiger Woods is
Tiger Woods is involved in this, and he's quoted in the story, and he's involved in a course near Houston, and essentially they have made it more of a beginner course. And one thing they did, which I thought was really interesting, was that on the 18-hole version of this course in Houston, they've cleared all the trees, and they've made the grass all one cut, so there's no real rough. And with the trees and the leaves being gone, you can find your ball easier. Because if you, I don't know, I spend most of my round just looking for my ball. So there you go. That kills all that time. Someone can find it for me.
Absolutely. I mean, I have to confess that my husband loves to play golf, but he grew up in a family that played golf. He played since he was a kid. I tried it when we met, and I never took to it. It's a tough thing to take to unless you feel that euphoria once or twice.
Or you're very competitive.
Or you're very competitive.
And determined.
Or determined. There were just other things I wanted to do for 4 hours on a Sunday afternoon.
But I think most of the research and most of the numbers say that Americans do want to try it.
Yes.
And they are, and the numbers then yield that they are going out and trying it. A lot of them are, and then they're just not coming back.
Yeah, so we got to think of some ways to keep them on the greens. Geoff Foster, thank you so much for that.
Thanks for having me.